The next piece of advice I have for you is choose your attitude. And I know the people that have me in class right now are going, oh my God, he's going to go on attitude again. So I've done it 3 or 4 times every semester. But I truly believe this. You can choose your attitude. And in 1994, this hit me pretty hard. In 1994, you guys were probably just about discovering, I don't know, how to recite the alphabet in various languages. You recite alphabets and count to 10 and identify the pictures of animals in books. And Andrew Bakir and Jad Dandashi had been given their first razor blades so they could start to shave. In 1994, after a spring break trip down to Mexico with my father, we were coming back from a scuba diving trip. He revealed to us that he had been seeing blood in a toilet while we were down there and for a short period before we left. And a few doctor's visits later, it was confirmed he was diagnosed with colon cancer. And they said if he's going to survive, he's going to need to undergo an operation, a surgery to remove a large section of his colon. And then he's going to have to, after that, go under a year of chemotherapy that was going to make him sick and make his life miserable and make him miserable to be around. And this is bad news. I looked over at my father, and in his typical way, he had this sideways smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye, and he said, don't worry, son. They're just going to change my punctuation. I said, what are you talking about, Dad? He said, they're going to take my colon, and they're going to make it a semicolon. I said, Dad, that's not funny. I mean, this is serious. I mean, you can die from this stuff. And he said, I know. He's like, but son, I can't. He called me son because he's my father. He said, son, I can't control that. He's like, I'm sick. I got cancer. I got to do this. But if I got to go through this with feeling sorry for myself without a sense of humor and without able to laugh, then it's going to be twice as hard. He said, besides that joke is gold. He said, I got to go tell it to everybody now. And I share this trait with my dad. We can both tell the same joke 50 times and still think it's funny. And my dad's told that joke 1,000 times. He still tells it if you ask him. But we get a chance to choose our attitudes. And as you graduate today and you move on, bad things are going to happen. Some of your hearts are going to get broken. Some of you guys are going to be involved in accidents, or somebody that you know is going to be involved in accidents. Somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's going to die. There's going to be a disaster, a natural disaster, otherwise it's going to happen. And we can't control those things. They're outside of our circle of influence. But the one thing we can control is the attitude that we're going to respond to those things and how we're going to choose to react. And if you have already held on to the passion and the idealism of your youth, and if you've already surrounded yourselves with good people that think the same way as you do, then choosing that attitude is going to be a lot easier. And then you're ready for the 4th piece of wisdom, which is to always remember how powerful you are. And you are powerful. And I believe to the core of my being in the power of the individual, and the power of the individual to make a difference on every individual that they come into contact with. Every time you meet somebody, every time you engage in a social interaction, both people walk away changed. And because they walk away changed, they go out and interact with other people, and you change them, and they change more people. And it's like this ripple that goes out into the world. And where it stops, you never know. And I thought of this 30 minutes ago when we were coming in here. I thought of a piece of evidence for you. I'll offer you a little piece of evidence. Some of you sitting up on stage here managed somehow to change or to touch or to inspire one of your teacher's lives so much to the extent that she was willing to go through the time and the expense to travel halfway around the world, arrived at 12 o'clock last night so that she could be here to watch you walk across this stage. And Kelly Childs, I know you're out there in the audience. Where are you at? Stand up. Stand up. Now sit down. But think about this. Because of your interactions with her, you've changed her, and now she's teaching at a high school in Denver, Colorado, changing kids that you've never met. You're changing kids you've never met. That's your influence. Those are those ripples I'm talking about. They keep going. You're powerful. And it's not always good. Sometimes it's bad. In 1999, right about the time you were, learning basic arithmetic, right about the time you were learning how to make a compound sentence, right about the time that Ayaz and Karina discovered that they're not like the normal children. In 1999, I was teaching at a high school 20 minutes away from another high school named Columbine. And on April 20th of 1999, two boys named Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold walked into Columbine High School with as many guns and as much ammunition and explosives as they could carry. Minds bent on creating as much havoc and death and destruction and pain as they could possibly inflict until they took their own lives in the cafeteria. And when the shooting stopped, and the last two bullets ended their own lives in a suicide pact, they had managed to kill 12 of their classmates and one teacher, and they'd wounded many others. Powerful? You bet. They sent a ripple of change out into the world that changed the way schools interact and the way that schools deal with business forever. We're a little bit more concerned with security. We're a little bit more paranoid. We're a little bit more... Some schools have installed metal detectors at the doors. Right? They had this power, but as you look deeper into their lives, we tried to understand why they did this. We read through their journals and their diaries and their videos. We find out that these are two guys that at home had been largely ignored, left to do whatever they want. And at school, they'd been singled out for harassment. They were picked on. They were made fun of. They were ostracized. They were marginalized. And leading the charge, according to their diaries, were the athletes who would wear these white baseball caps at school. And when they went in shooting, they were targeting specifically as many athletes in white baseball caps as they could find. And when I think about power and the power that you have, I think about what if one of those athletes in a white baseball cap would have extended a hand of friendship or acceptance to Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold? What if they invited him to a party? What if they took the time to get to know him as a friend and to see the world from their point of view? Maybe they could have taken that edge off just a little bit, and that person, those two kids, might not have done what they did. Then equally powerful and an equally powerful force for change in our universe would have been that kid. And that's how it works. Every time two people interact, every time you meet somebody, whether it's an attendant at a store, whether it's your best friend or your mom and dad, you have the power to humiliate or to uplift. You have the ability to humanize or to dehumanize, to encourage or to discourage. And it's that effect that you send out in the universe that makes you so powerful. And that's what gives you the power to change. And you can actually change the world that way. And I believe that you guys are about to graduate now, and I'm about to walk off the stage and give the microphone to somebody else. But there's another graduation we all attend as we make our last transition from this life into the next. And I think that everybody on their deathbed probably wishes or hopes that they've created more good in the world than bad. That because they live, the world's a better place than it is a worse place. And we all have the ability to do that. And if you cling tenaciously to that idealistic passion and fire of your youth, and if you surround yourselves with good people that think like that, and if you choose to have a good attitude and a positive attitude and a productive attitude, and you always remember that your power in social interactions, then you can change the world one small piece at a time. And you're 122 strong up here. That's a lot of change that we can impact on the world. Class of 2008, I am filled to capacity with inspiration, respect, and admiration as I look at your faces up here on this stage, knowing how hard you fought to get to this point. I can say with conviction you've had an effect on me, a ripple effect on me. And I can say with conviction that because I've known you, I am a better teacher, I am a better friend, and I am a better human being for having known you. It's our world, class of 2008. Let's step out and make it a better place. Thank you.